Salutations, grandest of risings, great day, great rising. Today's a lovely day.
It is a beautiful day.
It's a sunny day. It's 29 degrees out there. Life is good. Just cruising. Kevlar Kess, Dr. Love. Kevlar Kess, Dr. Love. You know who we are by now. If you don't know who we are, that's your problem. You have to wake up. Look us up. Yeah. Well, today's conversation is quite different. It's more of a introspective situation. I would like us to have a conversation about what it's like, not what it takes, what it's like to be a man. What it's like to be a man in the world today, in the 21st century. 21st century man, not male, man. There's a difference. There's a big difference between a man and a male. I'll explain in a minute. So today's discussion, I would like us to talk about what it's like, what it takes to be a man. Now, let me start with where we are in the world today. A lot of people have this general, it's not misconception, it's a general
preconception.
Thank you. General preconception about who a man is, what a man should do, what a man should be, how men should treat others. And when I see and hear this, for many a scenario is more of a, whenever anything happens, everyone is very, very concerned about what the women go through, what the kids go through. The men in that situation, no one cares what they went through. No one cares what they went through, what they've been through. If there's any kind of crisis, an attack, and something happens, and everyone in that vicinity gets attacked or goes through a traumatic situation, no one cares about the men. The men don't exist. Women and the kids, obviously, yes, we care about that. But then when men are in that situation, people don't really tend to care what the men have gone through, what the men go through, what the men are going through. People don't tend to care. Because it's weird. I think Chris Rock said this. He said, I'm trying to quote him verbatim, but I can't.
Only
women, children, and pets.
And dogs or pets are loved unconditionally.
Thank you. Yes, that's the one. Only women, children, and pets are loved unconditionally. That there are conditions to loving men.
Yeah, man's love based on what he can do or produce.
Yes. So men are generally loved based on their level of productivity. So if you are not a producer, you're not a provider, you're not a protector, you are not a man. So society has now deemed men as producers, protectors, and providers, which is not far from the truth, though. Is it not crazy?
It's a fascinating one because on the one hand, I understand what you mean when you say it's not far from the truth. Because on the one hand, it does seem, on the surface, it seems like that's super unfair because it's like, I'm not loved unless it's by this condition. Unless I'm able to do this or produce this or provide that or have some competence in this way.
Yeah.
Like I've seen in my own experience, for example, when I do something well, I can see the attraction it creates. I can see the interest it creates. Right? If I'm performing, if I'm sometimes working, and I'm in my bag and I'm in the zone, I'm doing it. I can feel the energy, the curiosity, and so on that generates. But it's almost as though I have to do something. I can't just be like that's not enough. So on the one hand, on the surface, maybe it seems unfair, but at the same time, I think as a man, it is your competence that gives you your sense of confidence anyway. Like your confidence comes from your ability, and I think it's quite natural as a man, if you're really focused on your growth, to be in that process of getting more competent anyway. To be learning things, to be doing things, to be growing as an individual. So it sounds cold-blooded because I can see it. Like, I would give you an example. I was talking to one guy a while back, and he got really frustrated because he realized, he said to me, he goes, no one cares about me or my feelings. He's like, I'm there for my girlfriend, I'm there for this person, but he's like, no one cares about me. Like, no one cares. Like, I just have to work, I have to produce, I have to do this, but there's no one that cares how I am. And I could understand his frustration, but it was funny to me as well because I'm like, you'll adapt, you'll get used to it, hopefully. But do you know what I mean? Though it was funny because he was like shouting. He was just like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. And I said, bro, it's just like, welcome to being a man. Like, you'll adapt.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that weird and crazy? I think from just that itself, that's one of the main things that I see happening, because women worry that men don't care the way men should care, and men worry that women don't care the way women should care.
Mm-hmm.
When in actual fact, what we're complaining about is women are complaining that men should care like a woman.
Yes.
You understand? And men are complaining that women should care like a man. But where does that come from?
Bro, what you just said there is like that's it. I think that's it in a lot of ways, because I talk from my own experience now, right? So I've been in some long-term relationships, and I'm used to holding that space and giving a woman that space where she can speak, where she can be heard, she can be seen, and she can essentially heal, and a lot of times come to her own answers and whatever else. There was a time when I expected that to be reciprocated to me, and when it wasn't, I was initially like, this isn't right, this isn't fair. But I think there's a lot of preconceptions and misconceptions about what a man is and what a woman is, and there's an idea that we're just the same. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a misconception that we are just the same and we function the same way. And I'm not saying there's no woman that can hold space for a man, but in general, I'd say women are looking for a man to do that and to hold that space for her. She's not expecting to do that for you, and I've found that it makes a lot of women uncomfortable. Like, when they see that side of you, they get freaked out because it's like, oh, you're really vulnerable right now and you're really in this space. Like, most women in my experience don't want to be holding that space for you, and I understand that now, but before I would have thought, oh, why not? And I think people confuse equality with being the same. So I think there's the idea that, oh, we're equal, which means we actually are the same, but it's like, no, equality doesn't mean exactly the same. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
I know you know what I mean.
That's the problem, though.
That's what it is, right?
So that's the
it's the confusion, the conflation of those two things.
That's the origin of the problem. There's that from the beginning, from when we were young. Because again, catch us when we're young. When we're young, you will tell us things, and our brains sit down with it for so many years. And no matter what happens around us, we're still gonna see things through those eyes as children. This is why schools are pushing a lot of agenda on children, because when that child becomes an adult, they're still going to be stuck on those ways, even though those ways may be wrong. Their defense mechanism is, this is all I know. This is all I am. Therefore, this is who I am. So when we've been raised all our lives, and everyone has been saying to us the whole time, men and women are equal. We've grown up with the mindset that men and women are equal. That's an incomplete sentence, by the way. So, on understanding that men and women are equal is saying 2 times 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4, is equal to 4. So what the mind is saying is, a man is a woman is a man. You see how it goes?
Yeah.
Not when in reality is, men and women are equal sides of the same coin on both sides. So we're the same coin, but we're different sides of the coin.
I
So one is the head, one is the tail.
That's beautiful, man.
One is north, one is south. We're the same coin. But here's what's crazy. The coin cannot exist if it's not the head and tail. Or more of like, if it's tail and tail, it's a dot coin. If it's head and head, it's a dot coin. It's a fake coin. If it's a head and the tail, that's a coin.
So you're saying man and women, their definition is dependent on each other because they're so sort of interdependent that they're part of the same thing.
Thank you. When we say men and women are equal, is what you say, that's how it's delivered. You say that, but the brain sees it in a different way.
Yeah.
It says men and women are the same person. We're not. We're two different sides of the same coin. Because now when I say men and women are equal, what men are saying is cool, I will challenge women. Women are saying it's cool, I will challenge men. When we say men and women are two sides of the same coin, what we're saying, what happens, the brain goes, oh, we actually should complement each other instead of challenge each other, because my weaknesses are my strengths.
The beautiful thing with that perspective also is it's about being one, as opposed to opposing forces.
That's it. You learn that from anywhere, from any kind of old readings, stoicism, religion, whatever it is. It's
complementary.
We complement each other.
Yeah, yin yang, same
and different. That's it. So hence why that whole problem comes up of, she will never understand me. She never will. That's the reality. It's honest to God truth. Like, the woman will never understand you as a man. And guess what? Men would never understand women. Yeah. You could get a general point of view or general perspective. Like, you're driving somewhere, you're like, 1 mile around the area, general area, but you don't know exactly how she feels, what she's going through. You never know. And that's a reality, because that argument comes in. Oh, you don't know what I'm thinking? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not you. Do you know what you're thinking?
Yeah.
So now we're getting somewhere. Things like that. Before anyone starts to create controversy and chaos out of nothing. Because that's what happens. She doesn't know me. Okay. Have you expressed how you are, who you are? You don't know how to. Why? Because you are a man. Because society has told you as a man, do not express yourself, do not show weakness, do not talk more than you need to talk. So you've grown up all your life as a man in the 21st century with that dynamic of never knowing how to actually express yourself. Do you want to also know why? Because as a child, as a woman, every time you express what you're going through, how you're going, whatever it is, you have ears that listen to you. Everyone goes, oh no, it's gonna be okay. The sun shall shine the next day. After the end of the blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Yeah, you get a nice hug and all that.
You get a nice hug, you get a cup of tea, blah blah blah. But now, as a man, the moment you express yourself, even without words, there is the negative connotation. The body language is off. Everyone else is like, yeah, what does he want this time? People, they might say, but I didn't say anything. Yes, you did. Your body language is everything. 80% of language is body language. A lot of people that will say nothing around you, just watch them. Their vibe is off because they get that screw face, like, oh, here we go again. Or what's he saying now? It shows, and you forget that you're human too. People say that. Oh yeah, what would you think was this? What do you think the difference is between a male and a man? How would you define and differentiate a male and a man?
So interesting trying to put these things into words, but I know exactly what you're asking to, and I'm like, how do I articulate this? say a male is someone who's born with the masculine physical characteristics. A man, I would say, someone who actually has masculine qualities, the internal, not just the physical, like that ability to take responsibility, to lead, to protect and provide in different ways, whether that's on a physical level or mentally, emotionally. Yeah, I would say I'd say the male is just the physical thing, because there's a lot of adult boys running around. I think a man is the one who's got he actually has the internal core, which is masculine.
I like that. A male adult boy. That's good. That's good. I think it's the same thing I'm saying. Yeah, right. I generally think a male is obviously genetically male species, but one who hasn't put in the work. One who hasn't put in the work to make himself better. One who hasn't put in the work. One who hasn't put in the effort to make himself a contributing factor to his community. That's a big thing. It's different. I say this because one who hasn't put the effort to make himself a contributing factor to his community. And once I'm saying that, so you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have an active team that's actively doing something for your community, I don't mean your entire postcode, your circle of friends, you know, the ones who are progressive.
I'm so glad you made that distinction, actually.
When I said that's your community, your circle, whether it's a small circle or a big circle, your circle, because males tend to not have progressive circles. Men do. Men have progressive circles. Men are growing. Men have to go places. Men are doing things with their circles. Men put in the work. Males don't. Men understand sacrifice. Males don't. Men understand how to be calm in the storm. Males don't.
It just reminded me, I was working somewhere the other day and it was quite busy, and there's one particular guy there who he just wasn't in control of his energy. He was one of those people where he's just hey, da-da! And so he would try and kind of mask it by being loud and sort of having lots of banter, but really what was happening was that, you know, his adrenaline's going 100 miles an hour. So at one point I'm working, and it's busy, but, you know, used to that. And I'm talking to someone, and one of the guests had come up, and so I'm serving them, and as I'm doing it, he comes out of like the kitchen or whatever at the back, and he says something, but his whole energy, like, it just cuts through the whole, because the whole place is calm, and he comes out and it's just like someone hitting the wrong note in the song, and you could just feel the energy go strange. And I turned to him and I said, "Are you okay?" He went, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm fine." But he was really loud. And the person in front of me was kind of taken back as well. So I looked at him and I went, "It's cool, calm down." And he went, This is just how I talk.
It's not.
I can't talk to you." And then he stormed off. And then he didn't talk to me for about half an hour. And then, I know, right? And then there was something that he said we didn't have on the bar, and I kind of like got his attention. I said, "Yeah, we have got some." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And then he was very different. And then later on when I spoke to him, he was saying, "Oh, you know, some people have that calm thing." He said, "You know, maybe it will come with age." He's like, he doesn't have it.
It's no age, mate. I've had it for a long time. I've had it for a lifetime. But that's the thing though. It's, I think for said scenario, someone like that has not been taught how to become. Someone that has not had a good teacher in life, good life teacher. Whether they had a good teacher and they didn't listen, because you've had many people who've had the greatest teachers around them, but just because they don't want to listen, it just comes out like they never had a teacher.
How would you teach someone to be calm under pressure? Because that, for me, that is a very big quality and a very big piece of being a man as well. Actually.
Talk less and do more. I say things like talk less and do more. 1, 2, I tell people when you walk into a room, be quiet. Before you start talking, read the room first. Because that is what puts everyone off. Because think about it, you're walking into an environment that's already been owned. There are people in that environment, they're already mixing their energies, they're already doing their thing. There's already
There's like a frequency,
there's a
or
frequency
mix of
going
energy
on there
already.
So when you walk into that new frequency, you want to actually catch the vibe and match the vibe. If you want to socialize and get to know people better, the first thing you want to do is you want to catch the vibe. Secondly, you want to match the vibe. This is why,
really
like you said,
advice.
clash. It's a clash of frequencies. The frequency is there. Everyone is vibing. Every human being has their own frequency, and every human emotion has its own frequency as well. So everyone is vibing, literally frequency, vibration, vibing. Everyone is vibing, and then you come in with your own different kind of vibration, vibe, and then you want to forcefully control the room. It's never gonna work. You cannot catch people through forcing them. Doesn't work in the world today. You know. So this is why, I mean, when it's something today, what did I do? I walked in, read the room. Even if it's my room, it's like I walked in.
I try and do the same. It's funny you say that because I do the same thing. Like I'll walk in and I'll just pause, kind of just survey. And I'm also saying I'm here as well, right? Like with that silence, I'm like, yes, I am here. Yeah. And I kind of gauge what's going on. And I'll add something actually, what you're saying about having a different frequency, that works in the reverse from that example I gave of the guy that comes in really loud as well. If you have some people and they're talking and their energy's like, up here, and then you come in and your energy's just like, again, you're not matching.
Everyone, yeah.
You're not matching. And I know that because I'm quite softly spoken, and there's been certain instances where I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't connecting because this person's energy is up here.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but that's what it is like. That's why I say
catch the vibe.
That's why
match
I say
the vibe.
match and catch. That's why I say easily read the room. You know, without the vibe explanation, just say read the room. I say, of course you're gonna clash people, and what's interesting is those kind of people always say things like, "Oh, nobody likes me."
Exactly.
Everyone just thinks I'm there. No one likes me.
Get out of yourself, innit? You gotta get out of your own head and be in the present moment and read the. It's so simple.
Just read the room. Read the room. It's always that whole but it's who I am. It's not who you are. It's who you are choosing to be. It's the difference. I'm just like this. You're not just like that. You choose to be like that. You know, this is the thing. People don't understand this. If it's a life and death situation, you will adapt. You will, because that's the one constant about humanity is we adapt. It's change. We adapt. That's the thing about human beings. You can't say you don't adapt. You're a human by nature. You are here through adaptation.
Constantly.
Sperm, cell, and egg adapted. Baby adapted to toddler. We adapt and evolve. We adapt constantly. Our hair grows adaptation.
And even just during the course of a given day, we're constantly adapting. And
thank you.
What's interesting about it is we do it so unconsciously we might not even notice. So for example, I was with my mum before I saw you. Who I am with her is not exactly the same who I'm going to be here, right?
Thank you.
When I'm with my lady, again, it's another version of me. And it's not like any of it's fake or it's not real, but we naturally slip into these different roles and
you know that makes you...
It's interesting.
You know that makes you...
Tell me.
It makes you human. It's true. It makes you human. It's like I said last conversation about the whole laconic, loquacious, and pragmatic. Same thing. Every part of us, we adapt based on who we're talking to.
Yes.
Who we're talking with. We adapt. We always adapt. That's what it is.
Laconic, loquacious.
Yes, laconic, loquacious, and pragmatic. Yeah.
It'd be so cool if we could make it 3 L's. I'll work on that one.
It's easy. La pragmatic. Yeah, I got you, bro.
It's French.
Yeah.
La pragmatique.
La pragmatique. Okay. Sheila. That's alright.
Oh, man.
That's fine. What's the hardest part for you of manhood? Not masculinity, manhood.
What's the hardest part for me?
Yeah.
I think... Actually, let me not say I think. In my experience to date, what I'm finding is similar to what I was saying to you before we started talking on camera, is leadership is service.
Yes.
And so it's, I think a lot of people misunderstand it. So if they see someone who's in a role where they are dominant or they are leading, it looks like they have all the power and it looks like they are like, oh wow, but actually they have the responsibility. They have the most weight on their shoulders. Really,
They are the shield.
they are the shield. And so it's really not what it looks like. Like most people think, oh, leadership means you just sit in a chair somewhere and just bark orders at people. But it's like, no, you have to have the responsibility.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah, exactly, right? Your minions are running around.
Yeah.
But you got to come up with the plan. If it goes left, it's on you. Like, you really got to carry all the weight. And so I just find that, just more and more responsibility as time goes on. And I think that's just the journey, right? But I see more and more like, okay, that's what it is. It's like more service, more responsibility, more pressure. That's the path forward. And it is kind of thankless because there's times when, and I know you have this, there's times when, because of what you've done, suggested, or whatever, certain things have happened, and sometimes there's just no acknowledgement of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And I realise that's part of it too. It's like, yeah, you better get used to that because that's just how things are gonna be.
Well, leadership
It's so weird.
and manhood, you're not gonna get your cake or your roses until you're dead. No one, and this is what we've seen. It's not what. Oh,
But how are you getting them when you're dead? You're not there to get them.
There you go.
That's just like saying you never get them.
There you go. What we've seen is that a lot of men don't get their props until after they're dead. So after they're dead, everyone comes and goes, "Oh, he was a really nice guy. He was da da da." I was like, yeah, exactly. I think mine for me, one of the hardest things is unexpected responsibilities.
Elaborate, please.
One of the killers of relationships in general are unexpected responsibilities. One of the hardest things about manhood are unexpected responsibilities. So here's why I'm saying this over and over again. People tend to automatically throw the responsibility of protection on your shoulders just because you are a man. If shit goes down right now and you are somewhere, everyone comes behind you just because you're a man. No, because they don't know your first name, they know nothing about you, They just expect you, because you were a man, to take the bullet. They don't care if you have family at home. They expect you to take the stabbing just because you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
Unexpected responsibilities. Happens a lot. When it comes to relationships, like we said earlier about the equality and coins on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
because your partner or you, they've sat down there for a long time and then they've made up a glorified version of you in their head.
Mm.
In their head, you're wearing a knight's armor, you've got a Kevlar vest on, you know,
Yeah.
you got 2 swords in the back, you've got your everything, you're like, you know, Captain Save-A-Hole, just all that stuff. So they have the unexpected responsibilities put on you.
Mm.
So this is why sometimes someone's never happy or never happy enough for what you do. Why? Because they don't see you as you. They see you as the fabricated version of you in their head. So in their head, you were supposed to do 10 good things every day.
Wow.
Now,
I'm comparing you to that.
You do 2 great things on a daily basis. On a daily basis. But because in their head, they're expecting you to do 10 good things,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 is never good enough. This is why I said we don't get our roses until we're dead.
Mm.
Because there's that falsified version of you, unexpected responsibility, unexpected reality of you. Hence the complaining. You never do this, you never do that, and then you go, but I never started to do this. Who are you talking to? What are you tripping for? That's not me. You understand? That's where all these things come from. Unexpected responsibilities, unexpected realities.
Bunch of assumptions.
Yes. And that's, if you actually think about it, that's the root cause of many a breakup. Because what people are arguing about is irrelevant. Especially when the argument is weak and is moot. And you go like, what are you arguing about? That's literally nothing. Just do this and that. It's not that's the issue. It's not that popcorn or that chip.
It's usually something
It's
else,
that
man.
unexpected reality that they expected 1, 2, 3 from you, but they never discussed that conversation with you.
The thing is, you don't get, you know, there's that saying, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And one of the biggest issues in relationships is that lack of clarity in communication, you know, between the 2 people. And, you know, it sounds crazy, but, you know, I could imagine a situation where you literally have like a contract, right? Like, this is the agreed thing.
And his name is John Cena. Dun, da, da, da. Yep.
These are like, because like when you do a job, right? You come in and they go, here's the job description. This is what we're expecting you to do. Here are your duties, and it's very, very clear and very, very laid out. And I've had situations where people have come to me and tried to get me to do some shit, and I've literally like, at one point I actually just put my job description on the wall, like I stuck it up there. And when someone came to me with some bullshit, I'd be like, look at this, have a look at this. This is not in my remit. And if I choose to do it, I choose to do it. But you know, that's potentially creating a new precedent for me to be doing that all the time. So most times I'd say no. The point I'm trying to make is most relationships don't have anything close to that. It is just a bunch of like vague conversations and expectations and assumptions based on what you want, believe you should get, what you think a relationship should be.
Right.
And that's a madness.
Here's my question. Do you want your relationship to be like a job role? That's a reality, because from how you said that, I get what you're saying.
To a degree,
another
yes.
person would go, but if you're going to list the whole things out, you have taken away the human element to relationships.
I disagree.
So you've basically made it just because you're a logical person. That's why I'm going with it.
I know you can.
Remember that coin, thing,
yeah.
complimenting. We've not gone into the whole, okay, she needs to be logical like me. But she can't be logical like you. There's the human element to it. There's the emotional element to it. So it's how you approach her with it. That's it. So
Absolutely.
So you know what it is, but then here comes the. I'm not gonna write down. It's basically, it comes the. What do you expect of me?
Well, there you go.
So it's not a list of things. It's just a question. What do you expect of me? Like we negotiate. Said, "Nah, I'm not doing that."
Here's the thing: whether it's written down or it's not written down, the point is, we're not leaving things to chance or to assumption, right? It's what is it that you need? What is it you need? What is it you want? Like, if I know that from her and she knows that from me and we know that from each other, then the confusion is kind of gone, right? Then it's like it's quite clear. And maybe some of it you're like, yeah, I can work with that, or no, I'm not doing that, or whatever it is. But I think there needs to be a level of, there really does need to be a level of negotiation with this stuff, because without that, you're just left with these very vague terms. Like the typical marriage vows, let's keep it real, they're just way too vague, right? It's just like, have and hold, better or worse. Like, it's very, very vague. Like, what if you need some very specific, I was going to say something out loud, I'm not going to say it. But let's say there's a certain thing you want or like or whatever. If there's no real communication around that,
right?
It's not going to happen.
I'll say for you, Sam. Right? So, when is there the negotiation that there has to be sex regularly?
There you go.
Because that has to be discussed. That needs to be discussed, because now here's what's interesting, right? I laugh because generally women don't get it. Generally, not all women. I say generally women don't get it.
Generally women don't get it. This is going to be spicy. Go on.
Yeah, this is the truth.
Go on.
The fact that most men need sex. Most men need sex. Not want, need sex. Not like, need sex.
Need
sex. I think there are a few things on one hand that would make a man not crave sex as much. If he's on his goal, as in if he's on his grind. If there's something that's if he's on his goal, sex is next door. Sex is like whatever. If he is constantly drinking, sex is not on the list. If he's working, people who drink a lot don't. They're too drunk to bother. If he's high, if he's on drugs. So there's that drugs, there's the drinking, there's the working.
Some men watch a lot of porn to kind of almost manage that sexual energy as well. It's like as they're kind of releasing energy through that, it allows them to kind of.
See, that's the problem though.
It's interesting, isn't it?
We don't talk about that.
No, we don't.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Thank you. So, again, back to the whole, if you are a woman, child, animal, you can't be loved unconditionally. Now, if you are a man, you are loved based on conditions. Guess what, women? Men watch porn. Men watch porn a lot more than they tell you. A lot of men use porn to release. A lot of men use porn to release that tension. Now, here's how I say it. If you've raised children, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've raised girls and boys, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Girls are a handful, boys are a headache and a handful. Why? It's a thing called testosterone. Boys have more energy than girls do. It's just natural. Men have more energy than women do. It's just natural. Men have testosterone than women do. It's just natural. Men are pre-programmed. It's in our mRNA. It's in our DNA memory strand to reproduce and recreate and create children. Now, think about it. What is the process of reproduction?
Sex.
No, please let him think, because this is a teaching moment. What is the process of recreation and reproduction? I'll give you 5 seconds. Think about it. Exactly, kids. Sex. That's it. As simple as that. This is kind of why, once they have achieved the mission of reproduction, they go, okay, cool. The body shuts down. So yes, good, we're done. It is what it is. No matter how you want to modernize the world, we are still pre-programmed to be what we've been from day one. That's just what it is. Humanity wants to reproduce. Why? Guess what? There's something in the air. Maybe you can't smell it, taste it, or see it, but there's something in the air called the extinction level. Humanity is on its last leg. You don't realize it. This is why people are more sexually active, because their unconscious, subconscious level, something tells them that their time is up. This is why they're trying so hard to reproduce. You don't realize these things. Whenever a species is about to go extinct, there is a mass reproduction. If you don't know how to study species, understand that one. I'm just derailing, sorry.
Run it.
Whenever a species is about to go extinct, say 2 generations before extinction, there's a craze. There's a massive reproduction craze. Don't know why, don't know how, but it's just part of the way species try so hard to not go extinct. They just sense it. It's crazy. They sense a massive upheaval of the force, and they go, no. We can't let our species die out. So what do? They massively reproduce. You don't know about your species, learn. Or your history, learn. These things happen. So now, when it comes to pornography, the amount of men that watch porn, they don't watch porn because it's a casual Tuesday. They watch porn because they've gone to woman A, woman B, woman C, woman D, woman E, and they've tried to get some because of their innate need to want to reproduce. Woman A, B, C, D, E have turned them down. Now they still have the urge. Women don't have that urge, so they will never understand what men go through with that urge, right? And then what do they do to the urge? They watch pornography to release. Now what's crazy is when men tell women that they watch porn, what happens? There's a negative reaction to it. Oh, you're dirty, you're worse than this, that. But guess what? He tried to get some from these 5 women. No one's giving him anything. So what should he do? What should he do? Because porn is not bad. Porn is not good. Makes sense? Everything in life is good in small portions. You're drinking water right now. Water is good for your body. Guess what happens when you drink 11 liters of water a day? That's excessive, isn't it? That's bad for your body. That's what the world is like. Whatever you have in, the best thing in the world, no matter how good it is, too much of it is bad.
So little porn's good for you?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes. Absolutely.
Interesting.
But not that whole furry business.
Did you say furry?
Yeah, I said furry.
What do you mean furry business?
Animal lovers. Yeah, exactly. That's not what they're... That's why porn is bad. That's why porn is bad. Is that when you watch porn a lot, you become desensitized to it, and you start looking for
freakier things,
or a bigger, higher. Hey, Charlie. For a higher fix. You go for a higher fix, and it's like, nah, I want to see midget porn now. It's not the same. I want to see midget porn now. No, it was a short film. Get it? Short film.
Oh, short film. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's like that. It's just they escalate because you're overkill to it. Everything you do. If you go to the gym as well, same thing. there's you go to the gym, but then you have 2 hours, 3 hours, you're in the gym for 4 hours, 5 hours. Like, you're doing too much. As good as it is, you're doing too much. So you need a break between things. Whatever you do in life, you need to have a break between things. Yeah. But yeah, guys watch porn. And then they're not proud to tell you because you're gonna judge them. You're gonna judge them, you're gonna demonize them, and you're gonna bash them mentally and emotionally. So they don't talk about it. Oh yeah, I forgot to say so. Men have feelings too. So I keep forgetting now,
They do.
Seriously. I forget that. Men have feelings too. People don't know that. Men have feelings too, apparently. Yeah, so everyone pay attention. Men have feelings too. They just don't have feelings the way you have feelings. Why? Because they don't know how to express themselves in a safe environment. So they would like to express themselves, but they feel that if they do that in your environment, what happens is you will chastise them, you will look down on them, and then you will think of them as weak. Every woman I've spoken to about their lover, their partner, their husband, whatever it is, how the relationship dynamic shifted. I'm talking about every age from 21 to 61, right? Every generation. How the relationship dynamic shifted after she saw him break down in an emotional crisis. Not oh, my PS4 control pad is broken. No. Like real life emotional crisis. Loved ones died, business burnt down, kids going through something, emotional crisis, right? The men have said that after that something changed at home. They couldn't tell you what it is, but they knew what it was. The women, all stages, said the same thing. The power shifted. I didn't say that. They said it.
Really?
Yep. All ages.
Interesting.
This is why these young girls want their boys to cry. Because they want the power shift. They want to be in control of the boys. The power shifted. Yeah. Even the ones that wanted the power said let it shift. Once it shifted, they didn't like it. Yeah, because
it's not what it looks like.
Yeah, unexpected responsibilities. You see what happens over there?
Heavy lies the crown, man.
Heavy lies the crown. So they want you to cry. Now once you cry, they're like, I don't want it anymore. It's like you go and buy an item, and I don't want it anymore.
Buyer's remorse, yeah.
Buyer's remorse. Thank you. And it happens. All ages. And then
interesting. You've spoken to women of all ages
on
the same subject, and they've all said the same thing.
I don't want to be that person that speaks to only one demographic and go, yeah, I spoke to everyone. Who? Just black women that was 25 years old. Yeah. No. Yeah. All ages, all races, all parts of the world.
And they've all shared. Well, you train people, so I know you meet a lot of people anyway.
Yes.
And they've all basically shared that, having seen that happen in their relationships, the balance of power shifted. Yeah. And they were never able to see their partners the same way.
Now, what's interesting is a lot of women lie in the sense that, oh yeah, but girl power, this blah blah blah. I wanted this, and I'm like, come on, man, stop playing. I'm not that person. You understand? And I go, stop playing with me. I'm not that guy. Talk to me like a human being. Be honest. How did you find it? Because bear in mind, online, a lot of women are constantly lying. Once the camera comes on, they're just lying. Everyone knows this, but again, it's about, oh yeah, as long as she's a girl like us, we're going to support her. Even if we know she's wrong. As long as she's against the men, we support her. You understand? So when I'm having these conversations, it's the same thing. The first time with the lies and everything's like, oh yeah, we want this. And I go, come on, man. Look, who are you talking to? It's me you're talking to. Stop lying to me. Stop playing. And then the truth comes out. And I go, I know this. I just want to use to say it. I'm not, when you tell the truth, I'm not going to judge you, criticize you, or knock you down. No. I will explain to you what things are in reality. But it happens. A lot of people say, oh, they want this kind of man. Soft, sensitive, blah, blah, blah. But when they get that man,
They're unhappy.
They dump him.
Listen, the thing is, right, like, I've seen women who have a very masculine core, so they are, you know, they have those qualities. They're leaders. They're very direct, and I've seen them with guys who match them in a sense that the guy's got more of a feminine energy and they go along, but they very, very rarely look happy. And I think I've only seen one couple where it looked like it was working. It was really strange to watch them actually, because she's really tall and the guy was really short and very sort of like soft spoken, and her energy was like really manly. And they used to work together, do this food thing, and they present a lot and do a lot of videos. And he was super feminine in his energy, and it always looked kind of odd to me, I guess. But they seem to make it work. But usually, I've noticed when a woman's in that kind of position,
seem to make it work.
When I've seen people in that position where she is like calling all the shots, there's almost like a certain disdain in her tone when she's talking to the guys. You know what I mean? It's not because I think there's a difference between being in that position in leadership where you're happy in it and you're comfortable in it and respectful, and there's a way you're carrying yourself, and sort of like almost like reluctantly doing it, right? Where it's like, okay, I've got to take care of this because otherwise you're just not going to get this done, you know. So, okay, you're past me. No, not that one. The other one there.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah, there's a passive aggressive thing. That's what I tend to see usually when the roles are like that.
Right. I've had that before. Like the attempted passive aggressive thing. Not relationship, just with general people.
Oh God.
So whenever that begins, I stop the convo. Like,
just kill the conversation.
Yeah.
And like, oh, call it out.
Yeah, call it out right there. It's not gonna. It's not gonna pass 5 minutes. Like whatever we're doing. Say if you and I are talking like this and we're driving, and then you start doing the passive aggressive thing, I'll just
say, but like, tell me how you really feel this.
No. I'll pull over.
Yes.
Stop the music. Everything stops, and I give my full attention. What's up? What's wrong? Nah, for real, what's wrong? Like, what's really wrong? So I give like a few minutes to try and talk it out. And if you don't try and talk it out, I'm like, listen, that shit, don't you ever do that with me again. So I will give you time to talk. If we talk it out, we'll settle it right there, good. But if you're gonna be stubborn and not talk about it, then my threat comes in.
Which is?
That shit, don't you ever do that with me again. What did I do? You know exactly what you did. Don't do that with me again. That thing, if you're gonna be aggressive, be aggressive.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Be passive.
I can respect aggressive.
Don't play with me like this. Okay?
Yeah.
No. I'm not your bitch.
It's manipulative, it's weird.
And I know it. I say it a lot.
I like it.
And I go, no. Because it destroys you. It's the Judas Iscariot thing.
It's insidious.
You understand?
It's insidious.
If you keep that around you for more than a minute, they would do
poisonous.
more than that and not even know they're doing it. So I'm not Jesus proof. I throw hands. You understand? No.
Poisonous, that stuff.
It's poisonous. We don't play that. So if ever that comes up, I squash it right there before it even grows a horn. No.
It's good.
Who are you playing with? Not me,
That's
you know.
the best way to do it. I had a situation a few months back, and I think I told you about a guy I went to school with. He kept on leaving these little catty comments on my post. This was back when I was using Facebook. And at first, I wasn't sure if I was, reading into it, but I just got a little bit of a vibe. And then one time, he dropped one, and it was just clearly shade. So I just called him out on it.
You entertained it long enough.
Yeah, that's what it is. I called him out on it, and then he just unloaded, and I was like, oh wow. So this is what's really been going on underneath all those little comments.
Was it envy?
It was 3 years of him being angry at stuff that I'm posting. Now, I don't know if there's a level of envy in it. Maybe to some degree, some of it.
Envy.
Yeah, I think there was some.
A lot.
Because he's very unhealthy and just.
A lot of unhealthy people. They see the best you, the Facebook you or the Instagram you, and then they make the assumption that this is you all day every day. That you're this glamorous, happy, go-lucky person. But it's not the case. You know better. I know better. It's not always all, glam and shine. It's not. But people see your stuff and they get, and envy and jealousy comes out. I go, whatever, man. So whenever I see that aggressive thing,
Passive aggressive.
I stop it.
Call that out. Nip it in the bud.
There's a lot to do in my life. I have work to do. I ain't got time to worry about your drama. It's like, okay, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with you? It comes out. It comes out, and we handle it right there. And once we handle it, I'm like, don't do that again, please. But then, if you don't want to handle it, then I get aggressive. And I go, don't you do that again. Because regardless, you're going to hear that don't do that again. Whether it's a nice tone or a not so nice tone. It happens, man. It happens. It happens a lot more than you can imagine. It happens a lot more. Yeah. I think one of the craziest things for unexpected responsibilities of manhood is that a lot of people make the assumption that you are the answer to all the questions in life.
Oh my goodness.
You laugh.
Yeah, well, because I just thought of a couple of situations immediately where, like people contacted me, asking me questions on all kinds of things. Could be training, could be. Don't get me started on women. Like, it's like you just become this oracle, And sometimes, people, you can tell people just don't want to do their own thinking.
Because they know the answers.
Right? Or Google it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're right. There is this kind of thing where it's like,
unexpected reality.
My problems are our problems now.
Yes. You are the answer to all the problems, all the questions in life.
And yet, I do see that as a positive thing as well, because it's reflection that you are held in a level of esteem and respect.
There you go.
Where people want to come to you.
Unexpected reality. It's okay to come to me for these things, but let me know that you have marked it in your head that I am that person. Does that make sense? So, give me the position of sage in your head and let me know I am your sage.
Interesting.
Before you walking up to me and assuming that I already know I'm your sage. I am a sage, but your sage? Question mark.
Interesting. So you're saying I will fulfill the thing.
I will.
But I want to be acknowledged and respected as such. That's fire.
Yes, sir.
That's
that is fire.
No, because you can't have it both ways, isn't it? Like if you're gonna have that level from someone, then they should be given that level of respect.
Yes.
And appreciation.
Yes. So when you are now treated as the sage, you now behave like the sage accordingly, which is what? Now, this is what you get and I get. People will come to us with questions, expecting answers, and still challenge the answer we've given them.
Oh, don't start me on that one.
You laugh.
Oh.
You laugh because
pain under that laugh.
You laugh because it is true. He laughs because it's true.
Oh.
You come for answers. You get the answers. You still challenge the answers when you don't have answers. You know the first thing I do around to check if there's any cameras around. Am I being punked? What in the candid cameras happening here?
It's Ashton Kutcher.
You know, it's like pow, Shia LaBeouf or something like that.
Being fucked.
It's true.
Oh man.
Because I'm like, who sent you? Definitely somebody sent you.
It
Because
just makes no sense to me.
you're playing with me. I don't need this play right now. It's just like, why? Why? Black Dynamite, why? Oh gosh.
That's definitely a pet peeve, man.
Have you seen Black Dynamite?
Oh yeah. One of my favorite movies, man.
Have you seen the series? The animated
I haven't seen the series, no. Is it
Right.
good?
It's great. It's great.
I just thought they'd ruin it, so I didn't.
No,
I didn't even go anywhere near it.
No, it was
Who's behind the series?
Michael J. White.
Oh really?
Yeah, Adult Swim. Yeah. Same voice, character, everything.
Oh wow.
Same crew.
Okay.
The whole team. It's crazy. I just woke up this morning with the minds of orphanage. I was like, I'm thinking, how do you spell that? Whore, P-H-A-N, or is it F?
Orphanage.
Oh, yeah, because he had whores and he had the orphanage and whores, the orphanage. So you call it a orphanage.
An orphanage of whores.
Yes.
That
No,
sounds so
an
wrong.
orphanage and a whorehouse. So he turned this whorehouse into an orphanage. Called it an orphanage.
How do you turn a whorehouse into an orphanage?
That's what I woke up to this morning, Charlie.
That's the episode you woke up to.
That's my life this morning. I was like, and I'm 5 a.m. I'm in bed like, orphanage.
What are you talking about? I don't understand what's happening right now.
Orphanage.
You just woke up with the word.
5 a.m. bro. Orphanage.
Oh, I'm done.
So I'm thinking, hold on, how does it work? Because children become what they see, what they're around. So if you have whores and orphans, the orphans are going to watch the whores whoring, and then they're going to become whores as well.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be
pimps,
that
one of the two.
is that the whores see the orphans and go, you know what, I want to be a better example for the kids, so they stop whoring. But here's the problem: when you've whored for more than 10 years, you can't stop whoring like that. So are you gonna be like undercover whore, like Catwoman? Like daytime you're a nanny, nighttime you're a whore. Like
Man, people got to smoke weed to come up with conversations like this, you know. This is
5 a.m. bruv. Yeah, my life. The randomness is 5 a.m.
orphanage.
Orphanage. Is that a hyphen there? Or what? So like,
I'm seeing one word for some reason.
see, it's me too. It's like
And PH, definitely.
it's like Spider-Man. It's a hyphen.
Orphanage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
Kevlar.
I thought it was like a whorehouse, but the whores were all orphans. I don't know.
It's alright. I forgive you.
Dynamite.
I forgive you. So, retrospect. Men have unexpected responsibilities. And it's unfair because no one told them about it. So, they feel trapped and locked and confused and angry
Mm-hmm.
and frustrated. And what happens is when they meet other men who just like park in their spot or just stand in front of them, all that anger, angst, frustration, and responsibilities to be what you are not, all of that comes out in one explosive punch. And you see why men start having an N-word moment. For no reason whatsoever. It's not no reason. It's all pent up years of frustration, anger, not being allowed to express yourself, being forced to be the rock of the foundation without anyone even asking you to be the rock. Just because you were born as a man, you've just been automatically assumed to be the rock. No one give it, you got no paperwork, you don't get paid for it, you just are because you are. This is the world we live in. That's why a lot of men get frustrated and they get upset because they feel like you don't know them and they're not listened to. Men.
I'd add that I think it's quite a challenging time to be a man. There's a marginalization that's going on, and men are shown in a negative light so much, and I think there are a lot of men who are almost ashamed of being men or afraid of being men and are sort of tiptoeing around like, okay, let me not offend anyone, or let me not come across this way, or let me not sound sexist. And one, I think it's important to be aware and conscious in how you express yourself and how you treat people. I don't think you should be apologizing for who you are. And do you know what I mean? I don't think you should be walking around like I'm a walking apology because I'm a man, and men have made the world awful.
I'm sorry, but
yeah, and I think I see that in a lot of men now, where you can see they're just like terrified that they're gonna offend someone or get cancelled
by
or whatever.
speaking their mind.
Huh?
By speaking their mind.
Yeah, just by being themselves, but just by being honest. And so they kind of tiptoe around and they try to be politically correct and do all the rest of it. And I think, in my opinion, the biggest key is working out who you are and what you believe and being true to that. Because as much as all of that stuff is happening, I think the demand for men is greater than it ever was, man. Like, the world needs more men that can actually just stand on their square and say what they actually think and do what they believe in. And when those kind of men come along, they stand out so much, whether you agree with them or not. Do you know what I mean? When those men come along that just say, well, actually, this is what I think, and I don't really give a shit if you agree or whatever.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's a breath of fresh air. Like, look at Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, people that weren't afraid to be polarized or go against the grain of, what everyone is saying. It cuts through differently. So I think there's a need for, there is a need for men who know themselves. And whether they're right or wrong, at least have the honesty and the courage to say, this is what I think, this is how I feel. We need that. The world needs that.
This is what we do. Alright, brother. On that note, it has been emotional. Give a kiss. Back to love. Alright, brother. Thank you, sir.
Peace.